Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with you with another video showing you how I shot this beautiful editorial at this amazing house down in Uluwatu here in Bali. I used the Sony a7riii and a 24-70 2.8 G Master lens, and I just want to walk you through of how I achieved the looks that I was going for. So before we get into this video, I would love if you can subscribe to my channel and click the little bell button so you don't miss any of my future videos. Okay, so this particular shoot, I was going to work with this one model for ages. I really loved her look. She has a biker chick kind of style, which I really love. I think it's really up my street. I really love the kind of sexy but dark kind of look. And when I'm doing those kind of shoots, I always try and figure out cool locations. And then she messaged me and she said that she was staying at this beautiful cliff house and she asked would I like to come over and shoot. So we decided to go for an afternoon shoot because I knew that the sun sets on that side of the beach. So we were going to get beautiful direct sunlight. And if there's one thing that is beautiful, is direct sunlight into the house, hitting it with the golden light. I just knew it was going to be so beautiful, so I decided to go for that. I think we started shooting around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The sunset was around 6, so we kind of when we started, the sun was still a bit harsher, and then it slowly started going down and getting softer and softer, which was really beautiful. I decided to settle for shooting in direct sunlight mostly. We posed her all around the house. So we started in the little sun lounge area. We took some nice direct sunlight photos. They were really nice and contrasty. It was really beautiful. So for some of the photos, I wanted to test how the backlight would look. Well, we ended up shooting in the living room. So I wasn't using any reflectors. I was just using natural light. I thought that there was kind of enough light in the room to kind of fill up the space. So we sat her out by the open window. Obviously the window behind, you couldn't really see anything because it was overexposed, but I didn't mind that. And we styled her in those like really cool pieces. We styled everything ourselves. I brought a few pieces and she had a few pieces herself. We decided to go for quite an edgy style to kind of stick with her aesthetics. Biker boots and skirts and crop tops. She was wearing no bra and so on. So it was kind of like this nice edgy style that still kind of fit with the aesthetics of the house in a way, because it was all white, so we kind of kept everything quite neutral in colors. We did have one green dress, but it was still quite sexy and it worked with the golden hour and the light kind of there. So I ended up pulling a few pieces from a boutique that I know the owner of. We just took some photos with the pieces, and then I returned the clothes the following day. She knew that I was pulling it for a shoot, so it was all arranged beforehand, and it's usually the easiest way to get the clothes. I use direct sunlight most of the time. I used a slightly higher f-stop, but that's only because I wanted to make sure that everything was in focus and I was showing the location as much as I was showing the model. So nowadays, as I mentioned in my previous videos, I like to use a slightly higher f-stop to kind of show a bit more of my surroundings, especially if I'm shooting in a beautiful house like that. I want to show as much of it as possible. I don't want the background to be super blurred and so on. So I ended up setting for around f4. It was my first time using the a7riii and the 24-70 as a setup. I rented the camera for the day just to kind of test it out. I really enjoyed shooting with it. I thought that the dynamic range was absolutely amazing. Especially when I was shooting the backlit portraits, I was able to bring back so much detail in Lightroom afterwards. When I shoot, I always try to underexpose my images a tiny bit or just expose it properly. I never overexpose because it's so much harder to bring highlights back and it never looks right. So I always prefer to make the image darker and then brighten it up in Photoshop afterwards or in Lightroom, rather than doing it the other way around. It always works better. The darks are always much more easily brought back. It was also my first time I got to use the IAF, and I thought it was absolutely amazing. The images were pin sharp. It was a really cool experience coming from the Canon's perspective, where the photos are usually sharp, but sometimes I miss focus because, you know, there's a certain way you focus in Canon, and because the camera is mirrorless, you know, and you look through your live view and you just hold the button and it just focuses it for you, it was super easy and simple to get the images super pin sharp. All in all, I wanted the shoot to be really kind of sexy and effortless, but at the same time I wanted some poses to be a bit more edgy, so to have her kind of, you know, open her legs a bit more and just kind of, you know, extend the legs to kind of make it look a bit more dramatic. I ended up using the wider angles usually on most of the shots, so I got a bit more of a distortion for the full body, where it was like, you know, if I was using the 24 to 35, I would get much more leg in the shot and it would look much more extended and so on, and kind of give it a bit more of a dramatic look. In general, I adjusted the settings to suit the mood of the shoot. I waited to do the backlit photos just before the sunset because I wanted to make sure that everything was nicer and a bit softer, because if I was shooting it during the midday, I think the light would just be too harsh and the darks would be very severe. But because I was shooting with the light being a bit softer, it was easier to bring back the blacks, and the contrasts weren't so severe, and it was easier to get the right kind of image. Big thank you to everyone who took part in the preset giveaway last week. I asked you guys which photo belonged to which camera. The photo on the left belonged to a7 III and the photo on the right was a7R3. The winner of the presets is Sasha. Please send me a message and I will send you a download link. Okay guys, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this little video. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the images. I personally really enjoyed shooting them. I enjoyed color grading them, and I think they're one of my favorite images I took to date. If you did like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel and I will see you next time.